My check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and there are some major changes coming to the game room. They're actually happening, they're underway at the moment. But what's exciting is that I'm probably going to wind up being able to do a game room tour for you guys because I do plan on shaking the game room up so that I can incorporate more things into the room. And it's really going to be more than just a game room for me. It's also going to be basically like a creative space. I'm trying to kind of change a few things up with how I, deliver content, how I film content. And for those of you who caught the video that I put out yesterday, I am going to be dabbling back into videography and photography. So incorporating that into just how I create my gaming footage. I definitely want to get back into streaming, not back into streaming, but I want to start streaming, right? So all of these things that I want to do require a change up. They require a shake up, and that's good. That's good news. Once things start to get a little stale, you feel a little stagnant, you kind of need to change things up. And so that's part of what I'm going to do. So in the room that pretty much houses all of my games, I'm going to start bringing books into this room. So I actually have a shelf that I'm clearing off so that I can bring some books back in here. I read a lot, so there's definitely some books that are going to be coming in the room. And then on top of that, I'm also carving out some space for the camera gear. I've got a good amount of camera gear, a lot less than I used to have, but I want to have like a dedicated space for it. My camera gear hasn't had a home for about a year now, so it's time for me to find a place for me to put things like my camera. I have a few cameras, right? I have one of those smaller, like early 2000s, like pocket cameras, like the little handy cams. I also have, a Lumix GH5. And then I have a Sony A7S that I'm going to be selling so that I can get the Sony A7S III. On top of that, I have a number of lenses. I have a drone because I am into drone videography and photography. And I also have like a couple other just, tools that videographers or photographers use to kind of get through, their day of shooting or whatever it is they're doing. So a lot of that content and a lot of that information I'm going to be bringing over to my Patreon just because I know that this channel is more so dedicated to gaming. The folks who watch this channel are really just interested in the games that I'm playing. You're more interested in kind of the retro stuff. So I'm going to keep this channel primarily for that. But I think Patreon will probably be a better place for like the photography and videography stuff, just because though that gets a little bit more in depth. And usually once I start to really show footage of things that I filmed in the past, um, I get a lot of questions. People want to know what lenses I'm using, what tools I'm using, what filters I'm using. They want to know how I'm editing stuff. A lot of the questions come, and I want to really be able to answer those and set time aside to be able to kind of work with people on that. So a lot of that stuff is going to go to Patreon. But what's going to be happening in the game room is there definitely are going to be some shifts. So I've already started moving games around, and I started condensing things, and I'm pretty much going to be putting like all of my modern gaming, everything from like Gen 7 and Gen 8. I'm trying to pretty much bunch together on one area of the game room. And then I'm trying to keep like all of the retro stuff on this shelf. So I still have some more reorganizing and rearranging to do. The first two shelves are pretty much still the same. But I do have some more games coming in the mail. I think the last 3 games should be coming in this week. These are all games that were ordered on the last day of April, so some of them are coming from a distance. So I'll do a video probably towards the end of the week, just sharing some of the last pickups. I haven't really picked anything up so far this week, it feels like a long time, even though it's not. Like, I haven't had any new pickups. I've had some swaps, like I've gone to GameStop and I've had to return some games, and in place of those games, I've gotten other games. But in terms of just fresh, brand new pickups, I don't really have any of those so far. But I do have about 3 games that are going to be coming in, so I'll have to fit them onto the shelves, and I'll share that with you. But at this point, these top 2 shelves are pretty much the same, really these top 3 shelves. And this is where I keep my PlayStation 1 collection, my Dreamcast, my Sega CD, Sega Saturn, and then PlayStation 2 collections. They're all gonna stay on this shelf. Then what I did was I removed the GameCube stuff off of this shelf, and I've actually put the PSP stuff. So this is now where a lot of the PSP stuff is. And as you can see, the PSP collection is small. It's a lot smaller than what it used to be. For those of you who've seen some of my earlier videos, you'll know the PSP collection used to be like 2 of these shelves used to take up my PSP collection, or at least I think at least one shelf was completely packed with PSP games. So that's changed, and now I've kind of scaled it back and kept on and held on to some of the ones that I really enjoy, like the Prinny games, Prinny 1 and 2, King Cabancho, Chili Con Carnage. You guys have heard me talk about these games to death. Ultimate Ghouls and Ghosts, a very good game on the PlayStation Portable. This is an extremely difficult version of Ghouls and Ghosts. This thing will make you mad. It's really hard, this game. What else do we have here? Garuman, I've talked about that before. Castlevania, Guitar Man. Yeah, so some pretty cool stuff here. The Power Stone collection, another game that I'm a fan of. So some really good stuff here for the PSP. And then here's where I put the remainder of my Vita collection. Don't really have a ton of my Vita collection left, but what is left, I have here. So we've got some games over here, probably some of the more notable ones. Gravity Rush. First place I played Gravity Rush, of course, was on the PlayStation Vita. Then I had to get Gravity Rush 2 on the PS4. And then down here, you've got some more of the Vita stuff. Aqua Kitty DX, Silent Hill, some pretty cool stuff. One of my favorites, Muramasa. So cool stuff down here. And then I've also put some of my Game Boy Advance sealed stuff down here. So here goes the Game Boy Advance sealed stuff. And then some of the big box Vita stuff is also down here. So I've kind of had to shake things up and change up this shelf. I'm probably going to do some more changes. I'm thinking about actually not keeping the Vita stuff on this shelf, and I'm maybe moving the Vita stuff, since the Vita stuff is a little bit more modern, to another shelf. We got to see, but I'll probably wind up doing like a game room tour once I get everything situated. Like I said, I kind of want this room to become a creative space where I can think, where I can write, where I can strategize, where I can read, and just get creative for you guys. It's going to be a place where I not only, do gaming stuff, but it'll probably be where I film a lot of the content for Patreon as well. So just trying to change things up. The summer's coming. We're almost at the mid-year point. And like I said, you just got to keep it innovative. You got to keep it fresh. I felt like things were getting a little stale and stagnant for me. So there'll definitely be more to come. Stay tuned. I appreciate all of you guys who've been checking in, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.